the actual dimension of the beam. Tesla clearly states that his microwave is a beam which grows smaller. But he states that its diameter is smaller than a hair of your head. Another idea of Tesla is a locator. This will help you to find anything on the ground. It will help you to find metal deposits or liquid deposits such as oil and water. I wrote a story about this locator many years ago, which was published in one of the radio magazines of that time. And a man out west read my story, and he wrote to me, and he said that his father had died suddenly and left his money buried someplace on their 300-acre farm. And did I think that Tesla locator would help him to find it? Well, I wrote back and told him that sure, if you can build the Tesla locator, you certainly will be able to find it if your father put it in a metal box or a metal lined box. Because if it was in a wooden box and the money was in paper, then it would be very difficult to find it. But if the money was in cash, coins, or if it was in a money box, then I was fairly sure he would be able to find it. Well, to make the story shorter, I sent him a diagram of this locator. This man built the locator, and he found the money. Another marvelous idea of Tesla was what he called a translator. This was not a very large affair either. It was something about the size of a small tape recorder, and it had many buttons on it, and you push one of these buttons to translate a language. In other words, the button would be a Japanese, for instance. You push the Japanese button, and it would translate the Japanese into whatever language you wanted, such as English and French, Chinese, whatnot, and so on. Tesla also had a small gadget which was a speed warner. This was about as big as a pocket wallet, and if you were driving a car, for instance, you would set it, and if you went too fast over the speed limit, it would yell loudly and tell you if you were going too fast or not. There is no connection to the car whatever. You simply could carry this like a purse in your pocket. You set it, for instance, at 50 miles an hour, and if you went over 50 miles an hour, it would yell out. Also at Stanford, Tesla built what he called a gravity motor. This was a tripod of 3 tall trees, the logs of 3 tall trees, lashed together at the top, and in the center of the top part was a pulley, and over this pulley was a rope. And the end of this rope was rolled around a shaft at the base, and a weight on the other end, and when the weight was coming down, it was turning the shaft, and you had 3 power. 3 power which would last as long as the rock was falling down, turning the shaft. Leonardo da Vinci was said to have built such a power plant. It was absolutely free and very useful, but one difficult point was the fact that you had to wind it up. Many people write to me asking the question, where can they find the best books concerning the life of Tesla? I have been answering letters like that for many years, since the early 20s, in fact, and I give the same answer to everybody that writes to me. And where can they find information which is true about Tesla? Well, you can find it in copies of his patents, You can get those patents, or copies of the patent, in the Washington Patent Office, Washington, D.C., United States of America. Now, there are also lectures and articles which Chester had published before 1943. In other words, before he died. Anything published in recent years might be a little bit altered. I don't know. I don't say that because of the publications are altered. But if you want all the truth without any guesswork, get copies of the original papers. Lectures, articles, and patents. And his life story, which is published in the first part of my book, The Wall of Life. Chester was a man who minded his own business and wanted other people to mind theirs. He did not like gossip. His private life was his life, and it belonged to no one else. He did not interfere with other people's business, and he did not want anyone to interfere with his. Chester was a down-to-earth kind of man. He was a mechanical engineer